Purim, in addition to the fact that we celebrate the great Nes of Purim, we read the Megillah, we have Mishta celebrations, Mishta and Simcha, but we know also that it is a time of Kabbalas Torah. When Klal Yisrael went out of Mitzrayim, and they said Nasiv and Nishma, they had Kabbalas Torah and Sivan, but Chazal tell us they accepted the Torah, they were makabel the Torah, Torah shebiksav, the written Torah, me'ava. They accepted that with love. But Torah shebal peh, the oral law, they accepted it me'yira, from fear. But they were not on the level, on the madrega, to accept Torah shebal peh, me'ava, until Purim. Kimu v'kiblu haYehudim. At the time of Purim, they were able to be makabel the Torah me'ava. Kimu mashe kiblu kvar. And one wonders why when Bnei Yisrael went out of Mitzrayim, what was the difference? What was the chiluk between Torah shebiksav and Torah shebal peh? Why Torah shebiksav they were able to be makal me'ava and not Torah shebal peh? What was the difference between them? And what was there in Purim that inspired them? Dafkan Purim, what inspired them on Purim to be able to reach that madrega, to be able to be makabel Torah shebal peh me'ava? And furthermore, all the nisim, the wondrous, remarkable nisim the Klal Yisrael had that was bestowed upon them from the time they left Mitzrayim, the great wondrous nisim, what was so significant about Dafka, this nes of Purim, that in a certain way was able to inspire them more than all of the nisim gluyim, the open, remarkable miracles that took place up until that time. In the limud of the Daf HaYomi Bahalacha, we recently just completed Hilchos Birchas HaMazon. And we know that in Birchas HaMazon there are 4 brachas. The first 3 are Deraisa, the Menatayra. The 4th one is Midrabanan. It is a Takana Derabanan. And Chazal tell us that the Rabbanan were Mesakin, the bracha, the 4th bracha, HaToiv v'HaMeitiv, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu bestows upon us all kinds of goodness, commemorating the Nes of Harugei Beitar. That after the Churban in Beitar, when they were the Mesim of Beitar, they were Nitna L'Kvura, they had the Nes that the bodies did not decompose, and they were able to bury them. What is a connection between this Nes and Birchas HaMazon? And why were Chazal Mesakin Dafka for this Nes, commemorating this miracle, a special bracha that we say regularly, is included in benching and Birchas HaMazon, which we say after meals. Dafka this Nes of Harugei Beitar, there are so many wondrous nisim. Why was this one chosen? Says the Meshech Chochmah that Klal Yisrael had many wondrous nisim gluyim, wondrous nisim that took place to them. They were taken out of Mitzrayim, va'esa eschem al kanfei nesharim, with a gilui ashchina, ra shifcha layam, mashalo ra Yecheskel ben Buzi, there was a gilui ashchina. But at the time of the Churban, when there was no longer a Beis HaMikdash, the Golus started, there crept into Klal Yisrael an element of Yush. Perhaps now there would be no more Hashgacha, no more Nisim, no more Yad Hashem. They were in the Cheshach, the darkness of the Golus. Perhaps the Rabbanu Shalom had abandoned them. And in the midst of their despair, in the midst of their tzoros, in the midst of that choshech, they saw a nes goloi of Harugei Beitar, teaching us that Hashem is always with us. And even in the darkest moments, Hashem is there watching us and still providing for us and still bestowing upon us miracles. And so when we thank Hashem after our meal, when we eat, and we thank Hashem for the kindness that He's given us, and He sustains us, and that He's given us Eretz Yisrael and the Torah and the Beis HaMikdash, we also thank Hashem that He provides for us and sustains us and takes care of us even in the greatest darkness. When Bnei Yisrael left Mitzrayim, there was a Gilui Shechina. The Shechina was revealed, they had open miracles, they had Avodas Hashem, a Bechina of Avodas Hashem Begoli. Things that were open, revealed, a Gilui Shechina, open miracles. And their Avodas Hashem, the Avodas Hashem that they related to was on that Madrega of Shechina Begoli. Torah Shebiksav. Torah Shebiksav is Golui. And they related to that and rekabel that me'ava. To have a kesher with the Rebbeinu Shalom when there is a Gilui Shechina. That was the Madrega that they experienced, that Klal Yisrael experienced, the open Gilui Shechina, open miracles up until the time of the Churban. And therefore they related to their Avodas Hashem, where they connected with the Rebbeinu Shalom, was on that Madrega of Avodah Begoli. Torah Shebiksav, they were able to be Mekabel Ma'ava. Torah Shebal Peh, which is Nister, which comes through Drisha, V'Chakira, and Iyun, and Amkas. And the Medrash tells us that Torah Shebal Peh only comes through Yegia and Omal and Sorrow. Someone has to suffer and struggle. And many times one does not understand, and it seems confused, and it seems like he will never understand. And the Or comes only after a period of darkness. The Or HaTorah comes only after the struggle. Klal Yisrael did not relate to the Rebbeinu Shalom on that level yet. When it came the Golus, the Churban, after the Churban, and then they had the Golus, they were under the rule of Nebuchadnezzar, of Bovel, of Poros, of Hashverosh. They were in the Choshech. They were in the Hastoras Haponim. And then they had the Nes of Purim, where they saw the Yad Hashem, Mitoich HaChoshech, Mitoich the Hastora, Esther min ater minayin v'anoichi haster aster es ponai. Then they saw the Yad Hashem and the Avas Hashem, and they were dovek to the Rebbeinu Shalom after a period of choshech, of tzoros, and they were able to connect with the Rebbeinu Shalom, as opposed to in the Midbar of Mitzrayim that them were tzoros. Lama he'elosanu miMitzrayim. Here they saw the Yad Hashem mitoich hachoshech. They were able to therefore have a darg of avodas Hashem mitoich hester ponim, hastoros ponim, and they were able to be makabel the Torah ma'ava, the Torah sheba'al peh, the Torah sheba'al peh, which is the Torah which is not nigel, which is not golui, which comes only through Drisha v'Chakira, Omal Yegia, and Sora, and through Choshech, a period of Choshech, until the Or is revealed, that they achieved after the Nes of Purim. And it's a limud for everyone, Klal Yisrael as a whole, and everyone befrat, that although there may be periods of Choshech, and Rahman al-Slan Soros, we should never have yush. We should always be reminded that Hashem is always with us. And we should always be cognizant of the fact that every situation that is presented to us is a unique opportunity to be oila in madregas, to be dovik in the Rebbeinu Shalom. It presents a unique opportunity that other periods do not. And periods of shalva, of menucha, do not present the same opportunities that periods of choshech do. And we have to utilize every situation to be oila madrega, to achieve higher madregas, attain greater goals, and kurva to Rebbeinu Shalom, and always remember that the Rebbeinu Shalom is always with us and guides us, and always provides nisim, whether the bagoloi or nisim nistarim. And we should remember that in this golus, the Rebbeinu Shalom is with us, and He will guide us and bring the Geula Shlema b'mher b'yameinu amen.